Attention pony lovers! Are you dissatisfied with Hasbro? Do you feel let down by the current adventures of Sunny and her friends? Do you have fresh ideas for wacky horse-related shenanigans you wish you could see from the show? Well, do I ever have news for you! Wubway wants to hear your ideas so he can save the ponies. So head on down to your local comment section and share your ideas today. For more information, stay tuned until the end of the video. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
I originally started writing this on February 22nd, and here's what I wrote. G5 has been out for a while, so how's it doing? Well, it's The biggest cause of alarm for me is that I simply am not excited for the next season, or chapter. Like, Tulsa King, I'm looking forward to Season 2 of that. Really looking forward to Season 2. And the new Avatar stuff that's in the works, I'm pretty eager for that. But for G5, I just feel apathetic. I would be upset if it canceled the show, but I'm not in a rush for more either. The plain fact is, there just isn't much that makes me excited for more beyond the potential it has. I like the new characters, and I like the dynamics between them, and I want to see more of Hitch and Zip's friendship. I want to see Izzy grow. I want to see Sunny become a strong leader. And most of all, I want to see Misty saved from that wicked bitch and get some good friends. But while there's so much potential there, this show seems to be held back, and so it underdelivers. So I can't help but feel a bit pessimistic. So I guess all there is to do now is wait for Chapter 4, so we can see what's next in store, and if it's better than what we've gotten so far. And when the newest chapter dropped, I didn't realize it was out until a few weeks after, and even then I didn't actually watch it for a few more days. The content drops demolish any chance for hype, and it ruins engagement. A weekly release makes the show part of the fans' routine. It gives them something fun to look forward to, and that's fun in and of itself, without making the wait excessively long and painful. Each episode release is satisfying, but still leaves you looking forward to the next episode. And during the wait, because people want more, they'll go to outside sources to get their fix. Talking to other fans, perusing fan art, reading fan fiction, watching fan-made videos. I think that's what made my own videos kind of blow up, at least by my standards, when G5 first came out. An 8-episode season becomes 8 weeks of fans tuning in, talking about the show, and producing their own content for it. That builds a community who will bond over the show and who will eagerly await the next season together. And since the release was staggered, they have 8 less weeks to wait. But with the content drops, people binge the season and then burn out. So there's less incentive to engage and contribute to the community. It also means that forums will be flooded with spoilers right away, which can make engaging the community a bit hazardous for those who do take it slow. Furthermore, it makes the wait between releases that much longer. The initial burnout period plus a long wait means people will lose interest and turn to new things. This really shouldn't be new information for you, and if it is, it probably isn't coming as much of a surprise. That's just kind of common sense, I guess. It really seems like Netflix is on track for a slow suicide. I mean, I just got hit with the, you're in a new location so you can't use Netflix because you might be password sharing. And you know what? Yeah, I am. I am password sharing. And I'm not going to get my own account, so you just lost one more person watching your stuff. I mean, I was on the last season of Peaky Blinders, and I like that show, but I don't like it enough to pay for Netflix. So, unless I learn how to pirate things, which legally I do not know how to do, I'm not going to get to watch it. So, yeah. And I'm one of many. Most of the Netflix originals I've seen kind of suck. What they did to The Witcher is a travesty. Big Mouth is Big Mouth. And they have a nasty habit of canceling shows even if people really like them. Their stated reason is that they do so based on how many people watch the show all the way through. They want a quick buck, basically, and they aren't willing to invest the time and money into a long-running show that isn't as instantly appealing and instantly profitable. Look at The Witcher as an example. A Game of Thrones style adaptation of a book series is a long-term investment. So they made sure to pick one with an already established fan base and a notably successful adaptation in the games. But instead of committing to what makes The Witcher and making a faithful adaptation like CD Projekt, they tried to change things in an attempt to make it as widely appealing as possible rather than just trust in the story. I mean, think of what a gamble making Game of Thrones was. A long, slow-burning show in a genre that hadn't been proven to have mainstream appeal yet. And the appeal of Game of Thrones' story itself was quite risky as well. Yet, they did the story justice, trusted in the source material, and, up until they ran out of it, it was good. The template exists and was proven to be successful, and House of the Dragon is continuing to show that it's an effective method to tell a good story and profit from it. So why the hell didn't Netflix just say, hey, here's the rights to The Witcher, copy HBO's method as closely as possible, and I'm sure we'll make money. But nah, they done fucked it up because they didn't trust in the source material. Now, how does that apply to ponies, you might be wondering? Because this is a pony video. G5 is a sequel of G4, so it functions like an adaptation. I understand the show is taking the franchise in a new direction, and that's a good thing maybe. G4 success is impossible to replicate, and if G5 tried to, it would only doom itself to failure in being a lackluster copy. So it needs to change and be its own thing. That is good. That being said, the things that get changed shouldn't be what made G4's MLP so successful. But there's no point in harping on about how things should be but aren't. It's better just to take things as they are, and how they are is... The writing is still gooby a lot of the time. Detective Zip is getting grating. Even the sound cues when she brings out her magnifying glass are starting to get on my nerves.
So it's not just some sort of unicorn spell? Just a natural phenomenon?
G4 had its moments of suck, but it generally remained consistently fun and engaging, if not exactly highbrow. But G5 seems to be erring on the side of prioritizing yippee, bright colors and pony magic plastic toys for the kiddies over compelling narratives. Friendship is Magic did have its fair share of pink pony tea party fashion girly girl stuff, but it was campy, and that made it endearing. And because it was done with deliberate care, it never became obnoxious or held the show back. Rather, it elevated it by playing into My Little Pony's signature identity. And that is girly girl pink tea party pony fun stuff, yeah. But G5 feels like it lacks that same care and intention. And that makes it feel more like a glorified toy commercial. It makes it feel corporate. It sacrificed that campiness and made MLP timeless and stand out from other cartoons of its day for current trends that I hope die soon and a generic, safe, boring style. Here's something. Hitch getting his makeup done. I have mixed feelings about it. Like, I've worn dresses and had my makeup done before and had fun doing it. I'm not all about that macho, only eat steak and motor oil or you're gay bullshit. But I'm also skeptical of the weird wokey stuff that's getting put into kid shows these days.
That's because I'm non-binary, and Fred is the name that fits me best. And I also use they and them, because calling me a she or a he doesn't feel right to me. Oh.
This really isn't all that bad on its own, and maybe I'm reading too much into it because of the bad taste in my mouth, but something in my gut makes me not like it. Where's the variety here? Where are the parts where Hitch says, you ladies have fun, but this isn't my cup of tea? That would make me a lot less reticent about seeing it because there would be balance there. Rainbow Dash and Applejack served as representation for tomboys and guys, but they also had their moments where they relaxed and enjoyed getting in touch with their feminine sides. Spike represented boys too, but he also got his moments where he had fun doing girly stuff. Yet he was still like a young boy, and Rainbow Dash and Applejack were still tomboys. I think Hitch being in touch with his feminine side is absolutely necessary for him to realistically be friends with a group of chicks. But he should be more masculine, both for diversity's sake and because girls need positive masculine role models as much as boys need positive feminine ones. Give the girls dresses and give him a dapper suit, or maybe a sheriff's dress uniform or something, I don't know. Regardless, this is just one of many ways that they could have made the characters more diverse and complex, but they didn't, and they just cut corners. The first episode was like a special, 40 minutes long, and well, it was super lame. It, once again, felt like a glorified toy commercial, like, hey kids, you want to buy our festival playset? It's super lit. And, man. The next episode was a lot better, so kind of wish whoever wrote the special instead. It had a lot more charm and energy to it, I thought. And you can really tell when the voice actors are having fun with the characters and the material, and you can see how it gives the characters more life on screen. and as a viewer, it makes you more immersed and compelled. I genuinely laughed at some of the hijinks, but I was also torn at the premise. Like, Sonny seriously decided to just take Sprout's family business? Sprout was right. It is his, not hers to just say is the community's. Is Sonny a goddamn communist or something? Okay, maybe after being ousted from power, Sprout's assets were seized by the city council or something, and they just gave it to Sonny as compensation for a lighthouse. Here's an idea. Just say that's what happened! That could have been a great comedic line to put him in his place, and it would have made the plot more realistic, and it would have been light world building. Okay, come on. How is it that a random kid on the internet can think these simple explanations do vastly improve the show when someone who is a professional and gets paid to write this can't? And the later episodes, I honestly can't tell you much about them. It's been a few weeks since I watched, and nothing stuck with me. The characters didn't ever seem to grow, not even Sprout. I was glad to see him, and he was funny, but nothing's really changed. He's still kind of an obnoxious idiot. Seeing them ship Alpha Biddle and Queen Haven was actually pretty neat. I dig it. Misty got the most development, but of course, I have mixed feelings about that too. On one hand, I'm glad she got friends. On the other, this setup didn't really seem fully set up, and so the payoff just doesn't really hit. Sunny and her friends just kinda sucked there. Like, yeah, even though you were groomed and raised by an evil alicorn and have valid reasons for why you acted against us, we're gonna be mad at you even though you obviously regret your actions and are here to help. Like, what the hell, Sunny? I think maybe Sunny's a self-righteous narcissist who thinks her alicorn powers make her Quinity's greatest gift, even though she doesn't actually care about anyone. And she just plays the part of an alicorn savior so people will worship and love her, but when it really counts, she treats everyone like shit. I understand Hitch reacting that way because of his protectiveness for Sparky and his role as a lawman, and even Zip reacting that way too because of her integrity and strong adherence to her values. But Pip, Sonny, and most of all Izzy should have been more understanding. Intense emotional moments like that should be critical for showing character, but they all seem uniform in their reaction, and then they immediately change their minds afterwards. In a better written scene, they would have had different takes and played off each other, one side convincing the other of why they're right, and that would have given the characters an opportunity to help each other grow realistically. Furthermore, I think Misty is a character who's easily cowed and is really sensitive. I imagine she would have buckled at their reaction, rather than determinedly staying to help them. Personally, I think it would have been more interesting for Misty to retreat back to Opaline after being rejected, and for the main five to escape on their own and continue thinking Misty is a villain. Then Misty could collect herself and still resolve to do whatever she could to resist and undermine Opaline, friends or no friends. Then Zip or Hitch or Sunny could eventually discover that Misty's been helping them all along, and then try and save her. That could have made for a great character arc and an emotionally impactful payoff. I am glad that they had her stay with Opaline though, because I think a lot of interesting stuff could come out of that. Not that I actually expect anything to, but guy could dream. I've pointed out before, but I'm going to again. The one recurring thing I see is how the friendship lessons the show gives us all seem to be oriented around digital age issues, and unfortunately that does make sense because today's kids are growing up in the digital age. Sunny Side Up and A Little Horse are about influencer type stuff and lessons for kids on the internet because of how popular and common that is now. Hell, look at me, making content for the internet. It's been a hobby of mine for a long time, and it's a hobby that involves broadcasting yourself to a very judgmental and cruel world that can make your life a nightmare, and that can haunt you for the rest of your life. I grew up knowing the name Amanda Todd, and I'm sure some of you know about her too. And we Pony fans should always remember Michael Marones. There's also vindictive Twitter assholes and cancel culture now. That means people can never make mistakes or say or do stupid things because those self-righteous fuckwads don't understand people can change and grow. I mean, if Discord could, so could Hitler. On top of them, there's lots of catfishes and scammers out there. There's pedophile groomers, LGBT groomers, Minecraft YouTuber groomers, ukulele YouTuber groomers, Hollywood groomers, FBI, douchebag groomers, and really, just lots of people looking to groom the young and the vulnerable for various nefarious purposes. Being yourself isn't an internet-exclusive lesson. G4 had episodes about it and never had to involve streaming. And really, it isn't the most important lesson about internet safety there is. And honestly, it probably isn't the best idea to always be yourself on the internet. The internet can be a dangerous place, especially for an emotionally vulnerable young kid. And I don't think My Little Pony is the right vehicle to talk about those dangers. Can you imagine an episode where the CMCs get a computer and make internet friends, then Apple Bloom goes to meet her Ponytown boyfriend and is just never the same again? Or if Granny Smith's past racist comments get unearthed and Sweet Apple Acres gets boycotted and can't make it through the winter? Or if they found out Rainbow Dash had Fullcon on her hard drive? Or if sweet, innocent Fluttershy's nudes got leaked and then she killed herself because she couldn't handle the shame? Yeah, somehow I don't think that would make the cut. The more I think about it, the animation still nags at me after all this time. I mean, Star Wars has proven that a 3D cartoon can have great animation that gets better over time even without sticking to just the same few locations. The hair is what stands out to me right now. I mean, solid hair looks good, and fan animation proved that it works on ponies. From what little I know, animating hair is hard and requires a lot of resources to look good, so why not just go with solid hair? It's proven to be good and that the fans like it, so why not? Just seems dumb to me. Again, I don't know a thing about 3D animation, but even I can see there's something screwy with it. The saturation and the contrast are just wackadacious, but I will say there is more going on in the background, and that's cool and mollifies my kenophobia. The ponies are becoming a lot more expressive too, and I love it. But still, they're just shooting for that generic Pixar style, and it is not working. I cited Star Wars as a good 3D example, but then on the opposite end of the spectrum, there's How to Train Your Dragon and Puss in Boots. Yeah, I confess I'm not a huge cartoon guy, but there's a reason I can think of dozens of amazing 2D cartoons, like Friendship is Magic, Avatar and Legend of Korra, Powerpuff Girls, Total Drama, Adventure Time, Teen Titans, Scooby-Doo, The Boondocks, Metajets, super underrated, and only a few good 3D ones. And the few standout ones I can think of never tried for that cinematic level of detail. On top of Star Wars, I remember watching Slugterra way back when on Disney XD, and as a little kid I liked Super Y and Sid the Science Kid. All of them have their own unique styles that make up for the comparative lack of detail you can get from a feature film that made them work. Even Word World. They've aged, definitely, and maybe not well, but you get the point. I fully understand that the Clone Wars is a much safer investment, but still, it goes to show what a 3D cartoon can be capable of with the right funding and care put into it. Make Your Mark is the worst of both worlds. Instead of creating a new, unique 3D style for the show, they just went for that generic film look, but were unwilling to put forth enough funding to make it work. And so, to no one's surprise, it sucks. We get some more world building though, and I really appreciate that. One helpful anon compiled this short list of developments. Unicorn superstitions actually have a basis in reality. Opaline is from a place called Skyros, or Skyros, I can't remember, and so are Celestia and Luna, and Opaline says the rest of the dragons are waking up. This all hints that there is history that we don't know about, and that there are new things brewing, and it is actually exciting. I am a little bit nervous about this Alicorn retcon because it could easily just really mess things up and make it suck. So Alicorns aren't just god-powered ponies, they're an entirely different race from beyond Equestria, except Twilight was made into one, so Alicorn magic is a unique kind of magic, so maybe they are ponies that acquired some kind of special power. Maybe Opaline says she's a fire Alicorn because her magic has some kind of fire-related source? But then what were Celestia and Luna? And Twilight? And Cadence? And what about Flurry Heart? Her being born in Alicorn was supposed to be a big deal, right? And then there's Sunny's weird hologram Alicorn powers. So what's the deal with the Alicorns? I have no idea. I bet she acquired Alicorn magic before she was worthy or ready, hence why she isn't a full Alicorn. Or maybe because she wasn't given it by an Alicorn, so she hasn't absorbed it properly or something? I don't know. And the dragons are supposed to be waking up. Does that mean when magic went away, they started hibernating? Or did the dragons collectively go to sleep for a few thousand years like that one did? Do they all have a great slumber like they have a great migration? what does them waking up mean? When Twilight took away pony magic, did she take away all the other creatures' magic too? That seems a little fucked up and un-Twilight-like. Opaline unfortunately almost kills Sparky. I wish she had. I hope that he actually starts talking soon, like Spike. Back to Hitch being more masculine, I want to see him being a father figure to Sparky become more of a feature of his character. We saw Twilight be a mother to Spike, Celestia be a mother to Twilight, as well as Applejack, Rarity, and Rainbow Dash be big sisters to Applebloom, Sweetie Belle, and Scootaloo. I can only think of one episode where we saw a male be a genuine role model to a kid when Big Mac took part in the Sisterhood Social. My Little Pony just lacks any solid representation of fathers and big brothers, and Hitch should be that. There are plenty of examples of him being a caretaker for Sparky, but since Sparky can't talk, there's only so much that the writers can do with their relationship. He is literally a baby dragon. I think it could benefit the show if they could communicate and have a more complex relationship, and it would seriously benefit Hitch's character if he could teach Sparky and engage with him as a paternal figure. And he doesn't do much sheriffing. Like, we saw the main six actually doing their jobs throughout the series quite often. Applejack and her job as a farmer was a major part of her character, and so was Rarity's job as a dressmaker, or whatever she was exactly. So why does Hitch only ever mention his job in passing? As much as I hate it, we see Pip doing her princess streamer thing, and even Sunny still does her smoothie stand every so often, so why is Hitch just left out? And what the hell does Zip and Izzy do? This once again comes back to the 3D animation, I think. We only get 8 episodes per run because animating takes so long. And 8 episodes don't give us as much time to explore the characters as a full 20-some episode season does. Duh. And now that I think of it, all the time the ponies spend faffing about doing random things makes it feel like the show is wasting time. Friendship is Magic was mostly episodic, but Make Your Mark seems to be telling, or at least trying to tell, one long story. That would probably actually better fit the 8-episode content dump structure if there was a story to get invested in rather than a bunch of disconnected random ones without any long-term stakes and consequences. And it's really annoying because there is potential there. There's a fantastic mystery to unravel. What the hell happened to Equestria? And that's something that I'm sure a lot of people are invested in finding out. There's a fun villain, and there's a lovable cast of characters who, in theory, have diverse outlooks and skills that would help them solve it. But no! Bland 3D, meaningless fluff that spits on the potential the show has. Corporate influence has neutered this franchise, and it is a travesty. However, we are one of the most creative fandoms on the internet, and we can pick up the slack. But is this show enough to inspire the creativity that Friendship is Magic did? We shall see. For those of you viewers who've stuck around to the end, thank you. I have a proposal to make you. I want you to comment any ideas you have for stories involving G5's characters that you want to see brought to life. Anything from the plot for a full episode, a single scene, or just a tidbit of world building, and I'll make something like a screenplay from it, and then turn that into a video. And if we keep building on that, eventually we could have enough material for our own season. But that's all up to you, and if you submit your ideas, which you definitely should. If Hasbro and Netflix can't do the ponies justice, it's up to us to do it ourselves. As Sunny says, we have to make our mark together. At least until we get a cease and desist from Hasbro, that is. Anyway, that's all I've got for now. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you like my other stuff as well, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.